Hello everybody, Dragon Defense here, and I know it's been a while since uh, there we go. Since I've been on my Dragon log. Anyway, at the moment, or today, I wanted to talk about a new game that has just been announced. And today, or I don't know why I said today again. A new Spyro game has just been announced, and I thought I'd look a bit to see if there was anything on a character named Cinder from The Legend of Spyro. However, there wasn't really anything, so I really had no idea. So, don't take me as fact, because what I'm about to say is going to be something I've just thought of and um, also my opinion. It's not fact. I have not done any kind of um, research or investigation, so I'm just yapping off, expressing my opinion. Anyway, first thing I want to talk about is Cinder the Dragon. In The Legend of Spyro, she is born the same year as Spyro, but is stolen by Malefor and his forces. And she is raised to be an evil dragon, practically a super weapon. She ends up ruling over a large territory with an iron fist. But after so many years, Spyro comes into the scene and kicks her tail. And they end up duking it out in the realm of convexity. After that, Cinder becomes overwhelmed with guilt and shame over all the terrible, evil things that she did, and goes out searching for her own place and calling. Spyro ends up going through a tizzy of things and tries to understand what he's been seeing in his dreams. And they both reunite on a pirate ship floating in the air. But then Malefor's forces attack, and capture Cinder. And they take her straight to an evil mountain with the head of some kind of animal. And they hold Cinder hostage for a bit until Spyro gets there. Spyro and the Ape King duke it out. Spyro wins, but ends up gaining dark abilities. Known as Dark Ether or something. The cave or the mountain collapses, and Spyro uses his abilities to create some kind of crystal and encased himself, Cinder, and Sparx in it so that they would survive the calamity. Then, in The Legend of Spyro, Dawn of the Dragon, Spyro and Cinder are forced to face off Malefor and his forces together, and they're chained up as well. After long battles and whatnot, they defeat Malefor and save the planet. And throughout the series, we see that Spyro has an interest in Cinder, but never says anything. But at the end of The Legend of Spyro, Cinder actually takes a step more and telling Spyro that she loves him. And the story pretty much ends with the two dragons flying over a field of flowers, or some kind of valley with mountains in the back, and the moon can be seen. I guess it depends on which game system you're playing it on. Anyway, for Cinder, it's been really hard to find something relatable other than her. Only thing is, not only does she have a story of redemption and overcoming her past, my life has been kind of like hers, but not at the same time. Hers is fake, mine is real. I started out evil, corrupt, destroying a lot of things, trying to get my own way. But then God showed up and changed everything. And he hasn't even stopped turning my life around. Even with these past few months or few years that I've fallen south again, he has still turned around and kept pulling me back into the fire. He is refining me. He is trying to, not trying, he is making me into the man he wants me to be. But I'm not helping because I keep getting in the way with my tendencies and sinful nature. But in answer to my prayer, he's been constantly proving himself to me that he's more than enough for me. He loves me more than anything I do, anything I own, or anything else could define me. Now on to point number 2. I think some people like me have thought The Legend of Spyro is the prologue to Skylanders. However, only problem with thinking that are timelines. Legend of Spyro has no mention about its origins or how it all came to be. It just starts out with war. There's a prophecy to end the war, and then it gets fulfilled in 3 games. Whereas in Skylanders, it talks about these powerful beings called the Ancients create everything using their minds. So, The Legend of Spyro has a lot of aspects that are completely different. And Skylanders is completely different as well. And even though it uses similar origins from The Legend of Spyro, it doesn't really say that the calamity during Dawn of the Dragon is what created Skylands. And they say in Imagineers that the Ancients are the ones who created all of Skylands. So the timelines are completely different and unrelated to each other. So that would make an alternate universe to each other. In which case, that means there's a multiverse in the Spyro games. Where there's so many Spyro games before The Legend of Spyro are one timeline, Legend of Spyro is its own timeline, and Skylanders is a different timeline. And the new Spyro game that's just been announced, Spyro A Realm Beyond, I think that's what it's called, is a continuation of the first 3 original games of Spyro. Now, the last thing I want to talk about to why Skylanders and Legend of Spyro are different. Yes, point 3 and 2 are related to each other. But one thing I've realized about Skylanders and Legend of Spyro are humans. Skylanders has a lot of humanoid creatures, including humans such as Master Eon and Chaos. There's also Golden Queen that looks very human-like. Pretty sure she is a human, just made of gold. There's Nightlight. Trying to think of who else. Hoodsicle could be a human. And I don't think I could think of any others. And in Legend of Spyro, in contrast, or in comparison, whatever the right term is, they're either something like humans or no humans at all. Because in Legend of Spyro, you deal with these undead warriors or dead warriors that come back to life. And they look like humans. Only thing is, some games like the DS version would call them orcs. So, and of course, people can correct me. I'm not worried about that. That's okay. Because I honestly really don't know. They look human, but they could be something else. Because the DS calls them orcs. And maybe in the game files, which I have no idea how to look up, even from the game itself while you're playing it, calls them maybe orcs. So that's the other thing that separates The Legend of Spyro from Skylanders. Skylanders has humans in it, but The Legend of Spyro has either little to none. And for the most part, you don't hear or see anything toward humans. Unless it's those frozen creatures in Dante's Freezer and the Mountain of Malefor that are humans. But then again, they might be orcs, so I'm not really sure. But y'all can say what you think they are in the comments. And so yeah, point 2 and point 3 are very related to each other. And to end this, I am really hoping that the leading developers of the new Spyro game put Cinder as a playable character in the new Spyro game. She's a pretty cool dragon. She's got her own powers. They're unique to her, supposedly by her exposure to darkness. I don't think that's true. But then again, there's a storyline to The Legend of Spyro, so there's that. Still. I like to see her as a playable character in the new Spyro game. My hopes are probably a little too high for it, but we won't know anything unless they get a really good spell where they can release the game sooner. Or we wait until spring next year. Or something might happen that might push the game a little further. Or beyond their release date estimate. Because of whatever happens to video games that makes them go off like that. I only have played games. I barely know the programming and whatnot and what it takes to go into making a video game. Excuse me. But this is pretty cool news that a new Spyro game has been announced, and there is a trailer for it. That is cool. So, I'm pretty much done yapping now, and stay tuned for more videos. I'm going to try to make more of the Dragon Log, but until next time, stand united, spread the light, and may the peace of God that surpasses all understanding and knowledge in our human brains be with you, and seek him out. Bye!